Okay, we'll call the Forestville Town Board meeting to order at 6:30 on Monday, December 20th. Roll call, please.
Roy Engelbert.
Here.
Larry Huber.
Here.
And Jason Clawhodge.
Present.
On Zoom. Okay, Dina Schmidt here. And I'm Ruth Kirscher. We also have Chuck Schley from the Southern Door Fire Department.
Okay, thank you. Has the agenda been properly noticed?
Yes.
Okay, and that will motion to the order to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I second that motion.
Motion made and second. Any further changes? The only change in order to help Chuck give a report on the fire department, we'll move that up right after the public comments.
Okay.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, we have approval of the minutes of November 15th.
I found them. I didn't know where they were. I make a motion, we approve the minutes for both of those.
I second that motion.
Motion by Larry, second by Jason to approve the minutes. Don't see. Is that really?
Good.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion is carried. Next, we have the treasurer's financial report.
Okay, in the cemetery checking, we have $39.24. Cemetery perpetual, we have $10,128.66. Cemetery savings, we have $1,564.54. Town checking, we have $1,120.60. The money market, we have $113,166.01. And the LGIP general, we have $100,802.39. And we do have a receivable of $803 for the land rent that I just sent out.
Oh, you just sent that bill out?
Yep. My computer, remember my computer was over.
Oh, okay.
And your computer is up and running.
Well, I got a different one.
Oh, you got a different one.
I took one from the farm.
It's a little bit of a challenge, let's put it that way.
Now, this is a nice report.
And then I did, so I figured out how to get rid of those receivables. Remember last month we had receivables that were already paid? Well, I got rid of that. But this contingency, I'm not sure how to get rid of that. I gotta check into that and I didn't have
Okay.
enough time with my computer coming back, but I'm afraid to delete it for fear it's gonna do something to my balance somewhere.
Couldn't you subtract it and put it in here? Vice versa.
Possible.
Mhm.
So,
Sue's gonna be back tomorrow,
oh, okay.
so she'll be back for
Oh,
two.
and maybe it's something I should ask her before I,
Before you just delete it.
yeah.
Okay,
Cause it really makes it head for a lot of other things.
you heard the treasurer's report. Any further comments?
No, I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. I gotta remember to pull back a little bit.
No problem.
Public comments and correspondence. Public comment, check. Chuck, do you have anything that you want to add, detract, or that public comment section? No?
Not really, no.
Okay. Okay, just a few correspondence things, just for your information. We had 7 people apply for forced crop considerations, and that amounts to 206 acres, 206.765 acres. And that'll be effective it'll be effective January 1st of 2022. So Ruth, I'm going to give this back to you for your
Okay.
file, because that's going to be,
Right.
some of them have for 25 years, some of them have up to 50 years.
Really?
Someone did join the meeting, but I do not know who it is.
Okay.
Could you identify yourself, please?
8:32, if you, we were just in a public comment here. If you'd like to have anything to say, please, you're on, are you unmuted?
They are unmuted.
Don't you have to mute them? Okay, no, they're unmuted.
Who
This
is,
is Monica.
Oh, hi, Monica.
This is Monica.
Okay,
I,
okay.
yeah, I haven't any comments, just interested to hear the meeting tonight.
Okay, very good.
okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll save this one for next, a little bit later on. Also in the correspondence, we did get correspondence advising, the county advised us that the motion, that they had a judgment from Mill Pond, Friends of the Mill Pond, that was denied by the plaintiff's motion, summary judgment by Judge Ellers, and it granted the defendants, the county motion for summary judgment and dismissed the plaintiff's complaint. Probably saw that on Door County Daily News, that
Right,
information
yes,
too,
that
so
was on-
we've been notified about that.
okay.
Okay, that's all I have. Ruth, do you have any correspondence?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Chuck, we'll jump up to the Southern Door Fire Department report.
All right, thank you. This is from November 10th to December 8th. There were 7 fire calls, but most of them were car accidents. Stone Road, the most popular spot to have an accident.
Really?
2 there. They had a couple, 2 Mavis calls, one up in Bailey's Harbor and one in Algoma. They had a false alarm, fire alarm down LaSalle Road. Not sure there if it was a battery in the, the smoke detector. But they still have to respond. 20 EMR calls. And we do not list, because of privacy stuff, we don't list one. Could have been anything. Okay. As far as training goes, they met with Sturgeon Bay for shipboard firefighting. The whole different ball of wax there. As far as fighting a fire inside of a boat. Pretty much it as far as them being in the fire department being busy.
Thank
Do you
you.
guys have any questions?
I just want to make a comment about, they had a regional firefighters meeting in Sturgeon Bay on ship, that would you refer to?
Yes.
And the fire department in Sturgeon Bay was commended on their salvation of the Apena, because they cut holes on the side in order to get to the fire. And it was quite a serious fire. If they wouldn't have cut holes on the side to get to the fire, that whole ship would have been lost.
Wow.
Wow.
And so they were really commended on their expertise and how they did it. And it was a very good training exercise, what it was.
Is there any word on the fire truck?
Any updates, Chuck, on the fire truck?
You're gonna ask that? Yes, I guess you could say there's some update. We've been meeting with Pierce and Marion on putting the truck together. And right now, kind of up in the air. We're not even sure. There's some that believe we do not need a truck at this time. There's definitely a need, but not necessarily at this time. It'll take 15 months from the time we sign a contract to actually have it in the firehouse. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it will be going to the North Station,
Mhm.
and it's called a rescue truck,
Okay.
and it kind of takes the place of trucks. They'll use it to fight fires, but they'll also use it at the airport. They'll use it for vehicle crashes. There seems to be more vehicle crashes that they go on than actual fires. So we're putting together what they need to do vehicle crashes. So we've got a couple of meetings coming up this month with Marion and Pierce to just fine tune, if you will, cost and what they need on the truck itself.
Are they going to be able to guarantee you a price? Is that?
Yes, that is one thing that they will. If we sign the contract, that is the price that we've agreed upon. That's the price it'll stay, no matter what happens. If things, the price goes up, we will be contracted in at the price, let's say, February 1st. Okay.
Would you be replacing trucks? Or would this be in addition to your existing fleet?
There's a chance that this one truck would replace two others, which is a good thing.
Mhm.
It's a good thing. But again, there are some that feel that vehicles we have now are adequate to carry on for another 4 or 5 years anyway.
Yeah.
Again, it's up to the board, huh?
Up the board, that's right. That's right.
They will bring, the fire vehicle committee will bring it to us and we will decide on it.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions,
Anything
Jason?
else, Jason?
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Well, thanks, Chuck.
I hope it's clear enough for you all.
Yeah, that's.
Yes, no, that's good. Appreciate it.
Well, Larry and Ruth have been working on the American Rescue Plan. And I believe you have some good news for us.
Yes. After putting all the numbers in for, was it 5 years? Our revenue loss is $152,301.09. And I don't remember what the amount was, like 53,000. So then we had like 106 that were
106 or 107,000.
Something like, yeah.
What we got,
what, right,
what's
what we
happening.
will be, yeah, we received half of it. So that's good news, but, and so this report we did before the end of the year, and I have to report that by April
Yeah,
of
April
next
now.
year.
Okay.
So I was hoping we could just report it and get it over with, but we still have to go, I suppose, the following next
We have
3
to
years,
put it
3-4 years.
up until the end of 2021
Right.
in
Mhm, mhm.
as well. We chose not to do any projections,
Right,
but this template that we got from the Towns Association went ahead and assumed a projection based on what we had put in through 2020. And their overall projection for revenue loss is 2,300,000. And so it's projecting, right now it shows 152,300 loss based on the prior years.
mhm,
But going forward, if things were to remain relatively stable,
mhm.
it would say we've lost $2,300,000.
Mhm.
So given that kind of information, we really won't know until we put the numbers in for this year.
Right.
Each year we will know.
Yeah,
But again, that would indicate to me, from everything I've learned from the seminars and everything else that we've gone to, those monies then can be used by the town for whatever purposes,
right.
Mhm.
we deem appropriate.
So we can't really allocate that money to other projects until after you make your report in April. Is that what you're?
I would think so. I would think so. I don't know if they even let you know that
I
it's
don't,
okay
I'm
or.
not sure, but there will be
Uh-huh.
more information forthcoming
Mhm,
from the Towns Association, from the Department of Revenue.
mhm,
And if you have expenditures that would fit the original profile of the CARES Act,
mhm. You could.
like we did for this last month with the government
Mhm.
stuff, that we just can easily document and justify.
Mhm.
If we wanted to add to that, or use those funds that we've already received, that 57,000 for other, let's say for a culvert or siding on the building or something like that, that wouldn't be directly related to CARES and personal protective function. But if an example, if we wanted to, if we looked at what's happening with the new virus strains that are out there and the way this thing is going, we could consider putting in high capacity or high filtration heating, air conditioning equipment. And that would fall under the same things that we had with the CARES Act. So we do, I would think that until we report in April and find out exactly how the Department of Revenue is handling this, to me, if we identify things like we had here with keeping distance and, keeping people from exposure, those are fine. But again, it's, I think that we probably will be allowed to use that money for whatever purpose we deem is appropriate.
I wonder too, now that 50,000 that we have in the contingency fund, maybe we should put the 57 and call it the ARPA for now. And then when we get the one in April, we should be getting another check in April.
May.
Or put it for that fund until we know for sure.
And then after that, then
Then
we
we
bring
can
them
use-
back into the general fund.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think
Yeah.
you did expend for that
And
3,700.
yeah, we got $3,000.
Yeah.
But that then the balance should then
Mhm.
be reflected in maybe a separate ARPA fund.
Yeah,
Would be a good idea,
if we take that 3,700 or whatever it was.
whatever that was.
I have it here, but.
So
Okay.
anyway,
That's just my idea. I don't know.
it was an interesting exercise.
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
it, Ruth?
yeah.
So take the 50,000 out, but then leave in what?
Well, see, yeah, I'll talk to you about that
Okay.
because we received like almost like 57,000, and we'd have to take the 3,000 that we just were expending tonight for Hagel or whatever, yeah.
Okay.
That would be an easy way to keep record. I
Yeah,
think.
that way and then that way we could prove what we've been doing and keeping it separate. That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that? That's great. Thank you for both getting involved in that. I'm
Yeah,
sure
that was-
in our February or our meetings this spring, we'll hear more about that, but great. Next item would be in election inspectors for a 2-year term. Ruth, you have a number of those?
Yes. I received 3 people on the Democratic list, and there was no one on the Republican list. And we have George Ouimet, Diane Slivka, and Ellen Levenhagen. Now, I talked to George and Diane, and they're both willing to work for the elections. And Ellen, I know would also be available, but I didn't get to talk to her. She had talked to Diane about it. We also have Monica Nelson, Sandra Gigstead, Lynn Juravic, Roseanne Sisler, Joanne Bungle, Lori Schlafer, Janet Babler, Lauren Eaker, and Emily Gillett. These are all people, a lot of them have worked, and I talked to Emily Gillett. She already had the training, and Lauren Eaker worked for us, and so did Janet and Lori. And they did not have the baseline training, but they worked in a pinch, for the big elections. But let's see, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 12.
You have 12 people on your list?
And at each election, I do have to have one from the Democratic Party, and then if I have 5 poll workers, I have to have 2.
2.
Yes, from the Democratic
And then
Party.
the rest can be.
Yes, it can be Republican or unassigned. It doesn't matter. So, okay.
So you're looking for, you have a total of 12?
Yes. Mhm.
12
Mhm.
people. And
I can list all their names, but.
and you have to list all their
Mhm,
names in the
mhm.
minutes, please.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Any reason why we would, I guess we need a motion to approve them first.
Mhm, mhm.
Larry, I'll make a motion to approve the 12 individuals that Ruth just named after.
I'd second that.
And motion made in second. My only question, is there any reason why we would reject any of them? Is there a question? If they have a felony or anything, an investigation?
No. The only one that didn't work for me was Emily Gillett, but she did work in, I think, Nassau or one of the other places, because she
But
did.
you call on them depending on the size of the election.
Yes,
Like in
yes.
November,
Mhm.
you probably will have a larger turnout
Mhm.
than you would, let's say, in April.
Okay, yeah, now coming February, I only need 3 because it's gonna be a smaller
Yeah.
election, but yeah, but for like presidential or, county or town elections, we need more.
Okay.
So-
Jason, do you have any comments on our 12 people that we're going to put on the election board?
No, I think that's, you guys got a good panel of people there. I mean, Ruth's already worked with them, so she knows what she's looking for. And the other thing too is it's kind of hard to find people to do that job. So I'd say definitely, whatever your decision is, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor of the 12 people, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item was the invasive species. That one we crossed out. That program's completed, so we don't have to report on that. Ruth, do you have anything on the sanitary district?
No, there's no report.
Okay. Larry, anything on the cemetery report?
Yes, the cemetery report. I got a call. I don't know, Roy, if you recall, when you were on the committee, when we had some mix up on buried where, and we were talking about people in alleyways and so on and so forth. Well, I got a call from Carol Krieger's daughter, Krista. And I guess Mike has is undergoing a battle at this point in time. They don't expect very long, and they're going to have to have an opening up there. However, what I discovered was when all of that confusion with those sites, on lot 11 in particular, it started out, I think, back in 2002. We started to try to remedy who owned which lots in what, which grave and which lots. And in the discussion, we had decided that we would use some of those sites in the alleyway. So I said to Mike, we would put one in the alleyway and one would be on the other side of the 2 girls that had been killed in 2002. Are buried. Well, as it turns out, I made assumptions that I should not have made, and I don't know that Jerry Eaker understood at that time, nor did I, and Mike didn't really make it clear to us. But those 2 girls were the daughter of Carol Krieger by a prior marriage. And at the time we thought, well, Mike and Carol could be on either side of the girls. Well, that's not exactly the way it's going to turn out. They want to bury Carol next to the girls in the alleyway. And instead of Mike being on the other side of the girls, he wants to be next to Carol. So now I'm going to put that in the
2
alleyway.
people in that, you have room for that too.
And yes, I do have room for that. And that's underneath the 2 other graves that are in that same alleyway between 11 and 18, those 2 lots. Gleasners have those up there. So to that end, I modified the certificate of ownership. And so now I have 1 grave available in that lot 11.
Lot 11 now, it's not full
Grade
anymore.
5.
Before it was full, now it's,
Yeah, it's not.
okay, well,
It's grade 5.
great, okay.
Grade 5, lot 11. So that's what went on. And I mailed out the information to Carol today with plots, certificate of ownership plus plots, so that she knew, because Krista, her daughter, wanted to make sure she had evidence of everything's been taken care of.
Very good.
So that's the latest on the cemetery at this point.
Good. Thank you.
And I probably will have, I'll probably get a hold of Jeff and we may well go up and mark that grave if we have reasonable weather yet before it gets too much deep snow.
Yeah, we're supposed to get inch and 9/10 or inch.
Well, that's not much snow, but before it does
Yeah.
show up.
Ground's not too frozen yet. It's not.
No, so I can probe, that's pretty straightforward
Mhm,
as to where we're going with it.
mhm.
So,
Very good.
yeah,
Oh, mistakes you make 20 years ago, still fighting them, okay?
we're still fighting that one.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Larry. Ruth, did you get the report back from the state retention?
No, I sent the letter the very next day after our meeting and no reply
Okay,
yet.
well,
No,
bring that up again next month,
okay.
okay?
Mhm.
Ruth has did some research and found out that the Pulse is less expensive for legal aids than.
No, I didn't find out if they were less expensive. It's just, my feeling was that the county, Door County Advocate, not many people are getting it
That's
anymore.
right.
Because you gotta pay for it, right? And the Pulse comes to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Pulse is legal.
And yeah, most of them are in the Pulse now, I've been noticing, and I don't know, they're both, I would think they're pretty much the same price. I know at one time I
Oh.
had gotten a price, but at the time we were still with the Advocate, so. And we did years ago make Door County Advocate the legal paper, so we would have to have a motion to make the Pulse a legal paper.
Okay.
So.
Barry, would you like to make that motion?
Sure, I make a motion that we name the Peninsula Pulses as the paper for the town's legal notices.
And we
Second that.
we have to put on rescinding, at the same time rescind the Advocate. In motion?
Replace
Okay,
replace the Peninsula Pulse or the Advocate with the Peninsula Pulse for our legal notices.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. QuickBooks update, I guess we don't have any more information on that. You mentioned what you had there.
Yep.
So it's working. Email security and gov update, Larry.
Larry's got haven't been having fun lately. As I mentioned here just prior to the meeting, I believe I'm well along. We have the domain of forestvilletown.wi.gov. So we do have that for our email addresses. And that was the thing that we had heard about it at convention. And the Wisconsin Elections Commission is going to be requiring that in the future. I did manage to get that domain, and it turned into a bit more involvement between the Department of Administration and Department of Elections or Wisconsin Elections Commission. We have the domain. I've since worked with with our email provider, Rackspace, and as you are all well aware, you don't have any email right now. One of the things we needed to do was back off all of the cloud drive files because they're not part of email. And so Dina, you have yours, you found everything last night, worked with you on that.
Yep.
You know where all your stuff is, it's on your desktop. I did the same right with your desktop. Jason's was empty. Thank you, Jason, for not having 1,000 files for me to play with. In the process, I have now got backed off 29,000 emails for restoration into the archive, because I didn't want to lose the archive either. So I had to back off the entire archive of email that we have through our .com address. That was accomplished last week. And now tomorrow I now have another schedule to try and get those archives moved into the forestvilletown.wi.gov email system. Once I have them in there, then will be able to use that new email address. It's a secure address. It's going to have multi-factor authentication required. So when you log in through the webmail, you will also have to have another means of authenticating, whether it's a text message they send to you or what have you. And once we have that up and running, then individually, I will work with each of you to make sure that your files get restored to the cloud drive, as we did the last time when we got the cloud drive. So my hope is that, boy, it'd be a wonderful Christmas present if I could get that thing done this week. I'm not holding my breath for that.
So we have two domains right now. We got .gov domain
Yes,
and then the Rackspace domain.
and what we are
But
doing.
that one's not working.
No.
No, what we're going to have is that if anybody has our email address, let us say somebody is dealing with you, Roy, and it's going to chair@forestvilletown.com.
Mhm.
It will automatically show up in your forestvilletown.wi.gov email. So we will retain the .com domain because that is where our website is hosted. And they'll set up an alias so that any mail sent to a .com address will then directly go to our .wi.gov. And I think that's part of the wrinkle that was in this process. And when we talk about the .gov environment, creating these forms and getting the online payment system and all the rest of that, I just put the brakes on that with Rex or with Town Web Design, because until we can resolve this other issue with the email addresses, I didn't want to add another layer of confusion to the process. And Dana, I'm going to have to work with you on a dog license form, because we don't have the dog license form out there.
Will that program work yet this
Your
year?
old program, I do not know, but I know this much, that once we move into this .gov add-on
Yeah,
to our existing website, we'll have a new way of creating them. And
okay.
then go to your email at .wi.gov. And then that, I don't think we have the bartending and liquor license out there on our website either.
No.
So those are two forms in addition to the other forms like our culvert permit and some of those other things.
And that would be high.
That'd be,
AGov.
yeah, that'd be the AGov thing.
Very-
But I don't want to start into that because without our email stable and solid, it just add more levels of confusion.
Yeah, we gotta keep one at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that will be my next step after I get that done.
Yeah, because I have to have a receipt to send them.
Yes, well, this will be, if they would choose in the HayGov world, you get an application and they pay for it through this payment system with a credit card or debit card or whatever. They absorb the costs of that credit card.
So people can pay their dog
They can
license.
pay it online, and then you will have evidence of that coming directly to you.
Okay.
Directly to the position, treasurer at forestvilletown.wi.gov. So that's how this is gonna work, instead of that other
Program that I.
program that doesn't work.
How did we decide that they're gonna pay for, let's say, a dog license? How are we gonna pay for that?
They'll have the option, they could print out the application and put a check,
In the mail.
or they could come to Dina and pay her in person,
Okay.
or they can do it online with a credit card or debit card, and then add it to whatever their fee was, say, it's like, what, $35, $25, $10, I don't know what the fees are,
15 and
15 and 10, then there's a processing fee, and that would be added to their transaction.
Okay.
And that would be on their credit card. We do not have to say, well, we have a $10 fee, but then it's costing us money to process.
Yeah.
So that's one of the benefits of using this new system.
Okay.
But I
We're
don't,
away from that yet.
yeah, we're a little ways away from that, but that will go in place as soon as this is done. As soon as the email thing and the archive and the cloud drive storage is done, that's the next step.
All right, great, yeah.
We're making progress. It doesn't,
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. I think we probably got a little ahead of ourselves because they probably weren't ready for us.
well, to be honest, I didn't expect fully, what this email thing was gonna be.
Yeah,
It turned into big business, big confusion.
yeah, yeah.
Till we got it understood. There may be a double charge for our, I want to get it resolved this week because our billing period ends on the 24th of the month. And that's why I wanted to start it right away after Thanksgiving. But then as I started to go take off things, then your computer died. It was one thing after another. So there may be a double charge. There may also be, I asked for assisted migration and there was $150 associated with that. Whether or not that's going to show up, I don't know. But in any case, that is necessary. And as long as we're talking about technology, I've also had multiple phone calls from people who have rented the hall wanting to use this, the large display screen in the large meeting hall. And they are always looking for the remote control. The only remote controls are the ones that we have locked up in here. And I think it's time that we procure a universal remote control that will work on this screen or that screen, that then people could look at it. So one party said, well, we want to see the Packer game. And I said, we don't have an antenna.
No, you can't do.
We don't have an antenna. And they can go on there and turn it on and off and plug it into a computer like I have here and like I've done in the large meeting room. But without a universal remote or some way to get a signal, I mean, you could take over the air, get one of those little cheap over the air flat interior antennas and put it on there. I mean, you'd get whatever comes over the air, but it wouldn't be high definition or HBO and all the rest of that stuff. But they can get on the internet and use Hulu.
Use a computer.
Or use a computer, and that's what people have been doing. They've been coming in with a computer, laptop, plugging into the cable and using it. But the problem they have is that they can't change anything on the screen. And as you know, these things help me to set these up. So I think that it would be smart for us to get a remote.
Universal remote with Velcro on the back, just put it on the side. Right now, when they turn it on, they gotta pull the unit up.
Well, and that's the problem. They're turning it
Okay.
to try and get behind it. Oh, that's a awfully heavy. That's an 85-inch screen.
Yeah.
That's a heavy unit. And I'd much rather have a controller hanging on the wall with a chunk of Velcro on the back that they could use. That people can understand. I don't want to pull the thing out, but I've come in here and found that they've tried to move it away from the wall. Well, even though it's bolted to the wall, I mean, with lag bolts into the studs, I just as soon have a remote in there. So I think we avoid problems. And they're reasonable.
Yeah, they're not very, they're under $100.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, I'll look into that and pick it up.
Okay. Very good.
Unless somebody objects.
I think it's a reasonable thing. That's the.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, very good. That's moving on then to roads and road work. Well, as we discussed last month, we talked about trees and dying in our right of way. And Mark Krieger has already started. He's cleared the trees, that's the 7 trees on Maplewood Road already. Those are done. Jason, you mentioned that Dennis Croswig would take the wood. Did you say that?
Yeah, I did talk to Dennis. He was going to take the wood on some of the trees, but it didn't sound like he wanted all of it. So I'm looking into somebody else who is interested in taking the wood for firewood.
Oh, he
Here.
Well, he didn't want all of it?
No, just
There's a minus.
Yeah, he wanted the black locust, I guess.
Oh, he just wants certain trees.
Minus and plus.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that when he first told me he wanted it. And it was,
Yeah. Passing his name off then.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got a couple other people that are interested in just the firewood. I'll have to get back together with you on that one. When I find out for sure if they're actually committed to taking it.
Okay, well, it just makes a little bit of difference. It makes no difference to Mark Krieger either way, but he'd like to know that before he starts cutting it. And as far as the wood on Anschutz Road, Bowman will take that. He'll take that wood on there. But on Anschutz Road, we don't have a quote for that tree removal there. On the windstorm here on Thursday night and Friday morning, we had 3 incidents where we had trees on the road, one on Maplewood Road, one on North Carnet Road, and one on Anschutz Road that the power company took care of. Those are the only 3 that I know of. There might have been more that somebody took off, but we were fortunate on that. So it's a.
Do you want me to clean up that wood that's on North Carnet over here?
Is there some in the ditch there yet?
There was. I mean, the other day I didn't go and look today or nothing, but if there's something you want me to go pick up, I can go gather it up for you.
Okay, would your dad take it?
Yeah, he would take it.
Okay, yeah, it'd be nice to clean up the ditch.
Yeah.
Whose property is it on? Or who lives where that happened?
Well, where that is where that where I think it was where Bev Harmon hit the tree down that direction there years back. It is down at the bottom of that hill by Ellison's Hill. Below that.
Oh, by Vignes?
Yeah, by Vignes Road.
Vignes Road, okay.
Yeah.
Was it a big tree or I didn't go down that?
Yeah, that was a big maple tree. It was like split. So
Okay. Well, we gotta clean it up, so that'd be great. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that's an ongoing situation this year as far as cleaning up. Big cottonwood on Wilkie Road, that's gone. All they did there was cut it down and drag it into the swamp. There's the son, what's his first name? Owns that swamp, so Mark's son owns that swamp, so they just used pulleys and made it fall into the swamp, and that's where it is. It was a big sucker. So that's our situation on tree cutting. Okay, back last month I mentioned that we put in some requests for aid, and the program for West Center Road, that has been approved, where we're going to get $18,000 to help that construction. We won't get any more information until the county gets their plan back, because they're going to be putting in a new driveway on the mill quarry, which will be down from where the driveway is right now. And they have what they call a reclamation plan that has to be submitted before they change anything. And when they do that, the county then will pay for a ½ inch. We'll improve from where we reconstruct the road. The county will pay for making it up to 4 inches rather than 3½ inches. So they'll contribute that, but we won't be able, that'll be a project for 2022. And but that definitely is a project, and that request was submitted on December 2nd. We also submitted a request, then a complete request for our road on Old Elm Road, and that's a discretionary one. And we submitted that request on December 2nd, and also the request for Old Krieger Road. We submitted that request. Those are also discretionary, and this one here for Old Krieger is a supplement. As I mentioned last month, we were rated #1 for as far as the county received them, but that is up to this. That's competition in the state, and depending on how much money the state has, before we know what we're going to get that on that. Okay, so that's the grant application update. Any questions?
No, do they have any timeline as to when that state committee is going to review and?
After March, we won't know.
So we won't know until April or May?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Usually around May 1st is when we find out about that.
Okay,
because that's the next biennium, that's
oh, okay,
that's when we find out about that.
all right.
Okay, just a quick review on all the bills got sent out by the taxes for our garbage, and so we hear a few people. There was a few errors on it. There were 3 of them that were refunding the money, and one of them was Dale LeClue, where we found out that the $190.65 was charged to the property with the suffix at the end of A. It should have been charged to A2, which was Alan LeClue. So in this particular case, we will have to send Alan LeClue a bill, an invoice.
Oh, did you get my email?
I got you, well, I got you.
Well,
I remember seeing Dale LeClue.
Yeah, it was on the bottom, Alan LeClue, the whole letter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if I understood exactly that.
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
Allen, I understood that Dale was getting money back.
Yeah, and Alan, yeah, I said on my email to Bill Allen.
Okay.
my recap was Alan LeClue, that's who's been charged. And it was 2 properties with the same number.
Mhm.
And then somewhere along the line, they put it on A2. So the original list had just A twice,
Mhm,
one
mhm.
for
Oh,
Dale,
okay.
one for Alan.
So it's $180.
$190.65. So Dina, if you could prepare, I'll give you a copy of, well, this
If
is.
she sent.
Yeah, I said, that's what I
Okay.
sent, and the
If you
second
would-
paragraph
If
shows.
If you send me, just prepare an invoice and I'll send a letter to Alan
Okay,
for that amount.
I'll email it to. Can I email it to your normal email?
Yes, you
Okay.
can go farm.
Okay, I think I have that.
So that's one. The other one that we found an error in is that Dennis LaFave has a warehouse. And what he did, he called going when they dropped the garbage cans off and they picked them up. He never told us. So naturally, he got a bill from us, and so we're gonna give him credit for that. The other one was
Dane and
Dane
Donna.
and Donna Clark. They said that they called and when they got the garbage cans, and that was not a house that we're living in, it was a pole barn. However, the confusion was that they had a holding tank in that property. And I had to go back to the government center at the planning department and go back to the records, and that holding tank was deactivated. So it is not a livable residence. So again, they don't have the garbage cans, and so we were going to issue credit to them for that. And I just had one call from a customer who has a property that's a livable cottage, and it's also a full septic system, and he was complaining that he didn't think he should be charged because he's just there on weekends. Well, I informed him that everybody is being charged for that, and so he didn't come. So that's the information on the garbage pickup. I will try to get for 2020, try to get the 2022, try to get all the records straight. I thought we did a pretty decent job, that we only had 3 out of 4.
Yeah, that's really good. Good.
On that.
You didn't get a call from the one on Maple Road that Linda,
Maple?
yeah, Maple
Oh,
Road.
and it didn't get, yeah,
She
okay,
didn't-
yeah, she called that, she only got one pickup, and I just so happened as a Wednesday when you called me, Ruth, and I waited for the garbage man to go past, and I waited for him in my car when he came back.
They must have,
And he said that he had never got that notification for his route, but I already had sent the notification to Andrew at going to be picked up there. Well, he said he was gonna pick it up that day, so
oh,
I
good. Yeah.
hope that he picked it up that day and taken care of her on that one there. So, and last but not least, Ruth, at our last meeting, we talked about Todd Wickler,
Yes,
and you sent him a
I
letter.
sent him a letter.
And so
Didn't hear from him.
you never responded,
No.
you know, and he's the one that's got a dumpster that was expiring on 12/31.
Mhm.
And so we will request
Garbage.
garbage
can.
cans for next week. I did get another call where somebody said they had a dumpster, but they also had garbage cans, so I had to explain to them that, well, you can get a dumpster from going. They were getting a dumpster from somebody else on a
Mhm.
monthly basis. You can get a dumpster from going, and going will deduct the monthly charge for the charge of the dumpster. You as a customer have to pay the bill for the dumpster directly to going minus the $15.99 monthly charge.
Right.
So that's still in effect
But
yet.
that's gotta be done through going garbage.
Through going.
You don't have to get
You don't touch
involved
that
with
at
that.
all. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So very good, Ruth. I will contact
Okay.
them on that. Okay, next item we got here is the payment of bills.
And it starts on page 2 of the balance sheet summary. Is 11/22.
I have a question. I noticed that some of the streetlights are failing in Maplewood Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
If you drive, I think, on County H up toward the church, you'll see that there's one of them that's blue.
Oh,
And there was one out here that isn't even on. So I think WPS is aware of the fact that they have gotten a batch of bad bulbs, because I heard something in Green Bay that they're dealing with that on some of these LED lights. But I'm not sure if we need to notify them.
oh, yeah. You need to notify them with a poll number, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay, you know at night when you see the blue light,
Mhm.
and it stays blue for a long while, because I saw that I can't remember which one it is, this second or third one up the road on the other side.
On H going toward the church.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and I don't know if there's one out here that's not even lit, or whether they replaced it or what, I don't
now
know.
we replaced.
But I saw a blue one here the other night, and now I didn't see it tonight, so I'm wondering if it's burned out.
Okay. Well, nice.
Any case,
Good night to do it, or, yeah, okay.
Look on your way home.
yeah, I will.
Okay,
I noticed some of the numbers are all out of order.
They are.
They are.
Why is, because I was looking at this and I'm thinking, we paid this last month.
Well,
This
but they're all, I mean, the dates are,
dates are all in order,
but the
right?
sequencing of the
Yeah.
numbers
So
within the
evidently
date
I
are-
must have hit something to put it in date order and not number order.
could be,
Could be.
That's
whatever.
probably what I did.
There's a surety bond here, a CNA bond, surety bond, who's this for?
Oh,
So-
that's for 2-year term for clerk treasurer.
Oh,
They have to
okay.
be bonded.
you notice that check number 16384 for Wisconsin Towns Association tax. Door County now is 100% of all
Oh, that's
townships
good.
Oh, wow,
tax.
that's good.
Yep.
That's good.
After the last meeting, Randy Halstead got Sturgeon Bay on board,
Super.
and we're the first county to have 100%
Wow.
participation.
100% of the.
Some counties only have 50% participation, so we won't hear Mr. Petkowski,
John.
John,
Mhm.
give us his,
Okay.
Spiel.
you didn't hear that last night.
Oh,
I hope those of you who are not TAC members don't sleep very well tonight.
he says, because there's only one of you.
And you have to, I can't make him mimic his voice, but.
Oh, it was good.
It was really good.
That's funny.
I can't do that. He was very
Who
good.
was there from the town of Sturgeon Bay?
Well, they certainly were hosts.
They were home.
They were hosts. Oh.
Yeah, it was up at the Knights of Columbus. Hall.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
hosts.
yeah.
And our next meeting will be, as long as we're talking about the subject, next meeting will be at the town of Union on the 20th in February, and we will be hearing about Bay Lake Regional Planning.
Oh, okay.
And that's,
Is that your next
and there's
presentation?
4 townships in Door County that use them right now.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be interesting.
Well, I make a motion, we pay the bill.
I'll second it since you don't see it, Jason.
Here they are, Jason, see? There.
I figured I'd let Roy second that because I can't really see him.
Okay,
Yes,
That's it.
yes, thank you.
okay, motion made to pay the bills, any further discussion?
Good.
Thank you. No,
Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Thanks, Chuck.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Okay. Announcements. Did you see the paper? Our old friend, Randy Nesbitt is back.
Yes, he's back. He's now working for another outfit.
He's working for Conway, Wasinjak, and Jerry
Out of Green Bay.
at Green Bay, but they just proud that he's gonna be local. So I just thought that was interesting, and he's specializing in municipal
Municipal law,
law.
yes.
So he's back.
Yeah, I saw it.
So we
Did
have,
he leave town before?
he left Pinkard.
Oh, he left Pinker, yeah.
But did he actually leave, or he just kind of semi-retired and came back?
That's what I thought he
I
retired.
thought he had retired. He retired from
That's
Pinker.
what I heard.
That's what I
That's
understood.
what I understood, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I'll be sick of playing golf.
We got a letter back in November 17 that Steve Jenkins from the Door County Economic Development Corporation was going to have December meetings or virtual town halls with elected officials and a general public in which the consultant will provide more details on the finding and recommendations of broadband engineering assessment. Did you hear a word from that?
I read that executive summary and that document that they provided.
Okay,
And I went through the thing. And I know I commented at the Towns Association meeting that, they didn't appreciate my comments about the speed that I was experiencing on the internet. And I've gone back again and looked at what they have in the way of information from this engineering study that they did. And what I found to be very interesting and valuable is that they made the statement in their analysis, their engineering study, that they've discovered the reporting to the Public Service Commission by those who are providing broadband access, that they're not accurately reporting what it is they're doing. And so the goal, I think, of that study is to see if they can't get grant monies, obviously, to build out broadband in the county, but also to correct the record of who really does have broadband speed. Now, personally, I have very fine broadband for this rural area. When I can get 60 and 70, down and 20 up, that's way beyond what anybody around here experiences. I'm the outlier, and that's because I'm very close to the fiber connection. I'm only 300 feet away on copper, whereas you're miles away.
Yeah.
So are you, and as well as you. So the CenturyLink got funding to put in their fiber and their high-speed capability, and there's very few of us who can get those speeds. But if there's one in an area, they then are claiming, yes, we're providing high-speed broadband to the entire area. And that's part of what this engineering study discovered, that they're not properly reporting. And unless you live in Sturgeon Bay and are dealing with Spectrum, you just don't have high-speed internet broadband. And so I think that what the Door County Economic Development Group did, and we were not a part of that. We chose to not participate in that. But I am of the opinion that what they did is a valuable work. And so I'd be very curious to see where the whole county goes with this. Because in all honesty, they haven't given a good report. And so net result is, because these ISPs or service providers have provided false information, if you will, when it comes time for grant money, they say, well, you've got all of these people who have got broadband, so therefore that's a lower priority than the rural areas that don't have high-speed broadband. Well, in fact, we don't have high-speed broadband.
No.
And so therefore, if they can correct the record as to what the ISPs are reporting, then I think the funding would be much higher. The capability or the possibility of gaining some of that federal and state broadband funding grant money is much better if they're successful. So to hear that the island was putting in fiber to every building on the island, that's where it needs to be, fiber to the premises. And the report at the Towns Association meeting was that basically it's no different than when they had been installed telephones or when they went through the electrification of rural America and put electricity everywhere. Internet capability is a utility that's needed across the board. It's no different than electricity or for that matter, telephone service. So I guess originally my thought was, well, yeah, somebody wants us to get on the bandwagon so that they can get something and we're not going to see much out of it.
Yeah.
But I think going forward, there may be, we need to be at least aware of and in support of the work that the Economic Development Corporation is doing.
Good.
So my take.
Another meeting we were supposed to have in November with the county administrator and the county chair. That was supposed to happen for town officials.
And that was to talk about broadband?
To talk about broadband and any other issues that could happen, and that didn't happen yet. So hopefully in the first quarter of 2022, that's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, not only will they talk about broadband, but they'll also then want to talk about using any ARPA funds.
Yeah. So another thing we got in the mail is that we have a meeting coming up with district meeting registration form. The meeting that we went to the last time was that 3 years ago, was over at Manitowoc at the Farm Discovery Center. That's going to be in April 2nd. Now, 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to get in the first wave and we beat the COVID lockdown in 2020. And so we got, but now they start in Juneau and it keeps on going to Whitewater, Kimberly, Stevens Point, Marshfield, Cumberland, Cable, across Eau Claire, Barneville, Wisconsin Dells, Minocqua, and we're the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
End of the.
Yeah,
We're at the end of the line on
End of the
April
line.
22nd.
So keep that in mind. We'll be talking about that next year.
Okay. Is that at Manitowoc House or?
Yeah, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Farm, Wisconsin Discovery
Okay.
Center. It's on Highway 43
Right.
where it tells you to turn and you'll go right straight past it after you
Right.
see it.
And the point is, with all of these, the COVID stuff that's happening right now,
Yeah.
they also are offering the virtual programming only.
Yeah,
At the very end, you see at the bottom there.
yep.
And that may be, that's March 28th and 29th. So depending on what happens here in the next month or two, that may be something we may want to consider.
Yep.
Maybe a gathering here and
Yep.
going on a virtual participation.
Yeah, it's by March 18th is when we have the registering. So
Well, that, we still have a couple of meetings between
Yeah,
now and then.
okay.
So it's just, I just mention it because it's a possibility that may be our only option.
Yeah. And the other, last but not least, Roy Engelbert did put his papers in to run for District 3 Supervisor for the county again. Now, unfortunately, Dina, you're in Ward 1.
Oh,
So you can.
So here's the map.
it's kind of a bummer.
Here's the map of the ward. It goes on
Highway.
Highway 42. And then Old Elm Road, it cuts over to Mill Road, and then it goes up Mill Road to H, it cuts over to Stone Road, and then it has a few counties and,
Oh, so we cut us right out.
yeah.
Yeah, so I can vote for right now.
You can go for
And I
it.
did get a call from
You're on
one,
the right side.
yeah, you're on the east side. I did get a call from one man who was interested in government and wondering if I was running again, and I mentioned, I moved here about 4 years ago, I said, maybe you should, where I started out in town government, so I would suggest that if you're interested in government, look at the town government first and then move on to county government, and hopefully so that's it.
So whose ward am I in?
You are in Todd
Todd Taves.
Taves.
Is he
For
not
parcels,
also
yeah.
going against Kunert?
No, that is Nancy Robillard.
Oh, it's Nancy.
Yeah,
Nancy and Tara are going.
yes, they're in the same area.
Okay, so, but is there a competition there in Tays?
I think somebody else took out some papers, yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody else that took out papers.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And, is that District 2?
That is District 2, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe somebody else will take out papers, somebody else took out papers for District 3 too.
Oh,
So, they can take out papers whether they turn them in or not. That's another-
sure.
another
I
story.
thought it was Laura Jorgensen.
For District 2.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, God.
Okay. Don't fall asleep on us. Okay. Okay. Anything else for future meetings that we're gonna be putting on the agenda again? Anything, well, for sure, update on iGov and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
have
keep
our
that on there.
technology upgrades.
Yeah, technology update, we'll have that. Won't have anything else. Oh, as far as roads are concerned, update, we might have a nice big bill of around anywhere from $18,000 to $20,000 in the month of January for the snow removal. We had 4 major snowstorms and 3 of them were on weekends. We had a total of over 16 inches in the month of December.
Mhm.
And so that was 4 snow plowing events that we had.
And we'll be paying overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And we have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it all went away.
That's state quality. There's nothing there.
And this last snowstorm was really heavy. And a few customers lost their snowball mailboxes.
Oh, yeah.
Not too many around here, but I heard a report up in the northern door, it was a whole line of snow
Oh,
mailboxes gone.
We all had no power for a while. too.
Yeah.
Yes.
that was the way you win.
And if somebody calls you about a mailbox, ask them to call the county, there's a man will come out, but they will not be covered unless they're 6 feet away from the shoulder, post is 6 feet away from the
From
shoulder
the
of the
road.
road.
Mhm.
That's quite a distance.
That is.
And so,
The mailman doesn't let you put in that.
well,
far,
that's
do
why
they?
you have to have a long arm.
Oh.
You know, these metal, the best one I've seen is that metal arm that swings out. So
But
you
it's
Yeah, we have
swings
that
at
on
an
the-
angle.
yeah,
We have that on the corner,
okay.
because that gets clipped every time.
Yeah, and with this heavy snow, the paw doesn't have to hit it, just the weight of that.
The weight of the
Snow.
flying snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right. Jason,
Yeah,
that's all we have to talk about tonight, so if you'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Jason, and second by Larry to adjourn, all in favor, adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion's carried. Thank you, Jason. Hope
Thank
get
you.
better. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys.
Yeah.
Aye.